Coming up today on Uncommon Sense, we'll talk to Maria Jansen, co-founder of Chesterton Academy of St. Louis, which is actually opening this fall. Stay tuned to hear about what it takes to start a Chesterton Academy. Hello again, and welcome to Uncommon Sense, the official podcast of the Society of Gilbert Keith Chesterton. I am your host, Grettelyn, and as I said, I'm joined here with Maria, who is courageously on a team to start a Chesterton Academy. Maria, it's great to have you here today.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
I've given you a one sentence introduction. Can you tell us a little bit more about you, sort of your journey and how you've come to this point?
Sure. I live in St. Louis. I have all my life. I married Seth, who also is from St. Louis. We have 6 kids, 15 down to 3. And we've done a whole combination of things for schooling, just trying to find what fits for each kid and our family in whatever stage of life we're in. So we've homeschooled, we've done private school, we've done hybrid school. And when my oldest got to be closer to high school, I started looking around and just thought, okay, there's nothing that really excites me here. There were some great things about different schools, but no whole package. And we go to a classical grade school here, and it was founded. My OBGYN was a co-founder of it. And so through all of my appointments with him over the course of 6 pregnancies, he was telling me the story of how that worked out. And I thought, okay, if he could do it with this, small group of families, and that's 8 grades, we could do a high school. And so then began the search to try and actually first convince someone else to start a high school. And then when that didn't work out, I decided to start exploring a little more what it would take to start the kind of high school I wanted. So then comes Chesterton Academy and the Discovery Days, which is the sort of like a 3-day conference, very intense introduction to what a Chesterton Academy is. And when I went there, I just fell in love with everything about it. And then I decided I had to come back and convince enough other people to join me on this crazy adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's a decent base of Chestertonians in St. Louis. So
there is. They're wonderful.
Yes.
In fact, one of them is our drama teacher that we just hired, Maria Jansen. I think she's maybe been on the show before. But
a couple of times, yeah. She's a good friend. She'll do you well.
Yes, so. We're so excited. And every production is going to have a sword fight because she's a swashbuckler. So
I absolutely love. I was a fencer in college, and we bonded over sword fighting.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it's great to even have some, start to have your teachers lined up. So how did you first hear about the Chesterton Academies, though? Like, you were looking around. Did you find it on the internet, or was it mentioned to you?
I think, well, actually in year 2 of trying to convince other people to start a high school, I just found, I think it was the online school, and was looking at that as an option, and then figured out that you could do, you could start your own. And we were at a friend's house, and I just mentioned Chesterton Academy, hadn't looked up too much about it yet. And her then 7th grader, I think it was early 7th grade, she popped out of the hallway and said, "I know about Chesterton Academy. You should start one here." So, and it's funny, she is now one of our enrolled freshmen. So that's amazing that it came full circle for her. But yeah, that was my first introduction. I actually tried to go to the Discovery Days that was held the year before, but it was full. So, I mean, God's timing is the best, and it worked out better to go the next year. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I've heard, we talked a little bit before the recording started about kind of God putting things together. Can you give some examples of that?
Yeah. So when I came back from the Discovery Days, a couple of people that were more interested, I just brought them some materials and I said, we need to do this. And we spent probably a month praying about it and then just reaching out to other people that we knew had been looking for something different here in St. Louis. And we had a lot of people discerning what their role could be. And we decided to form a core team that wasn't going to be the board, but it was going to be very involved. And we ended up getting probably 15 people in the first month and a half that joined us and said, okay, we're gonna join you. We're gonna be praying every day. We're going to be on at least 2 committees helping with this, and we're gonna give a financial contribution. So that was kind of how we formed our first team. And the great thing about that was it wasn't like we were a group of friends or all homeschoolers or all from a certain school saying we're going to do this. We are from all different walks of life. Their oldest kid was 4 at the time. We had a homeschooling family. We had families from our classical grade school and then the hybrid school, and it was just beautiful. We even had people join who don't even have kids who will benefit. Maybe their grandkids will 10 years from now, but it's amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we have people like that in the society who give generously or support in other ways. And we're like, you don't even have kids. It's so great. So,
right.
Yeah, it's just because it's such a unique, kind of treasure that needs to be in more places. Mm-hmm. It's so great that you guys are starting one. And I love that it's a diverse group like that. I think that's just the Holy Spirit doing his thing. So that's
and
great.
that's really helped spread the message further, because it's not like we have to try to find a whole bunch of new people. Like if each person on our team just told their group, that's spreading it very fast right there.
Yeah.
And then those people, so there's an advantage to when you're all in separate social groups and stuff to start out with.
Yeah. Smart, really smart. So we're kind of like blazing through our questions here, but that's okay. I think there'll be plenty to talk about. So what are your sort of, I know you said you have kids. So your oldest is 13, so he's right on the threat. It's
15,
he, right?
Yeah, he's 15.
Okay. So he's
actually already
age.
A sophomore, and we're starting with 9th and 10th, but he's opting to do 5 years of high school so that he can go to Chesterton. He's at the hybrid school right now, which is wonderful, and they have an amazing community of families, and they are a classical school also, but he just really likes the structure of the same thing every day. Sure. And so we kind of started it with that in mind, like, okay, even though that was good, this is going to be a better fit for him. And so we're calling him and another student who's doing 5 years of high school experienced sophomores. And
they might do something
that helped them come to that decision was the Franciscan Advantage program. I don't know if you've heard of that, but Franciscan University set up the program where you can, just taking the Chesterton junior and senior classes you're already taking, you can pay $300 per course and get Franciscan credit. So that will enable them to kind of make that year up if they want to come college. Yeah.
Yeah. And for our listeners who don't know, that's Franciscan University of Steubenville. They are our first college partner, but we are, we're looking around and people are the word is spreading. So there may be even other choices down the road for college credit, because really these are like college level courses, a lot of them. So
they are.
Yeah.
And the Christendom, a lot of people are excited about the Christendom partnership also, where it's not college credit, but they give any Chesterton grad an automatic $10,000 to go to Christendom over the period of 4 years. But I mean, that really speaks to the level of student that Chesterton Academy produces. I think we're hearing from college presidents that Chesterton students know how to think for themselves, and they're the leaders on campus, which I think is totally from the house system, which is amazing. But, yeah.
Yeah, I really love the house system. My oldest is 5, so I have a ways to go. But I think the person who joined with their oldest being 4 is probably smart, because by the time they get there, it's going to be like this nice,
Oh, yeah.
well-established school.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I think it's so important that it's even though the academics are just stellar, there's so much more that goes into a Chesterton Academy. As a parent, it's such a comfort to be able to look at this system and say, my kid's going to be supported. They're going to learn how to lead. They're going to have character formation,
Right.
and they're going to get this really great education. It's wonderful to see.
Mm-hmm. And really, there's there's just so many amazing things about a Chesterton Academy and the model and the curriculum. But the first thing that really struck me was the joy, because if you look around at the high schools around here, anyway, it just seems like there's some switch that flips, and the kids, once they hit freshman year, they think that they're supposed to be despondent and kind of moody. It's like, no, you can be. I'm looking at these Chesterton kids. We were up in at Chesterton Academy of Milwaukee, and they were just happy and joyful and speaking so eloquently to adults. Not trying to get out of the conversation. Is like, okay, that's what we need. We need to turn that around and have a different expectation for our kids. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really training them to be adults.
Yeah. Yes. And just have
in a
that
healthy
joyful
way.
spirit,
Yes.
and it's needed.
Yeah, and it's different, and it's different too in that way, in that I think there's a tendency at classical high schools to sort of have this, it's just all pressure, pressure for the right college, pressure for getting the scores on the tests, and that leaves no room for joy either. So yeah, it's a beautiful model. I don't know. I might have to start one in my area. I say this every time.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got a little bit of time, but it's going to go fast, I'm sure. So what are your, we've kind of touched on this, but what are your kind of hopes and dreams for the future of this? Do you like, you want to see your kids go through, probably, but like, what else do you see this doing for your community?
I love that it draws families together. It's not like, you just drop off your kids and they have their high school experience without your family being that involved. It really, really brings the community together. And I think it really helps families experience that joy that we were talking about together, and which I think is going to keep kids Catholic. Once they, have that bond through high school, they won't be as likely to fall away. They'll have amazing friendships. Yeah, and we already saw, we had a Mardi Gras ball, was like our first gala, and we had almost 300 people there. Dale came down to speak at it. Laura joined us. It was so much fun. And I mean, we didn't have a school yet. We didn't have any teachers. We did have our headmaster. So Dr. Schimpf came in from Oklahoma. But, I mean, we had just enrolled our first group of kids. So it wasn't people who were like already in our school. It was just the whole community really rallying to support us and get excited with us. So I just can't wait till that grows and grows and grows here in St. Louis.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're obviously still in the elementary school level in my house, but just kind of experiencing what it's like to be a parent. I was homeschooled all the way until college, so it's all new to me in special ways. But like how does the Chesterton Academy in particular involve families and parents? Like what are the specific ways that actually happens?
Well, I think, it just has that, we're raising saints. That's part of the mission. It's actually raising up a new generation of joyful leaders and saints educated in the classical tradition and truths of the Catholic faith. You can't do that without the parents. I mean, too many schools nowadays separate the parents from their kids and say, okay, we're going to teach them, and you just do the feeding and clothing and sheltering. But really, it's the parents' job, and Chesterton Academy really gets that. They want to be an extension of your parenting. They want, Eric Demuse, when he was giving his talk at Discovery Days, he said if a parent doesn't intimately trust the school that they're sending their child to, they shouldn't be at that school. So we're looking to be partners with these parents. In fact, our headmaster, Dr. Schimpf, when he was looking at the job description, when it came across his plate, he said what struck him was that it was a parent-led initiative, because he's the director of marriage and family life right now in Oklahoma City, and he has just seen a lot of this breaking of that parent role when it comes to schools. And so he just loved that the parents were such a big part of it. And then the house system too, it's not just your child that's in the house system, it's the whole family. So you've got, there are 4 field days a year, so you've got like your whole family rooting for you. Any of the other kind of competitions, like the canned good drives or any things that your school chooses to do, like your whole family is in on that. And it's just great when you can celebrate as a family, or if your house doesn't win, like you can complain as a family. But the thing is, you're doing it together. And I think that's really important.
That's really great. That's beautiful. Wow. So have you been to the Chesterton Schools Network conference yet?
I have not. I think I'm hoping to go this summer. We're going to see who on our team is going and who's not able to, but our family vacation is the week before. It's
just extend it a little.
Take a few more days off work, but I think we're going to work it out. Yeah.
Good. It's a great experience. For those of you who don't know, the CSN conference happens right before the annual Chesterton conference, which is also an amazing experience if you ever get to go. It's I'm not sure if it's completely open to the public, but it's definitely it's really for the schools that are opening and that are opened to kind of refresh and renew for the ones that have been open for a while, and to give that boost and help those schools that are opening. It's a really important part of what we do to launch these Chesterton Academies. And again, if you're interested in coming to the annual conference, we'll have a little commercial break here. You can visit chesterton.org/conference to learn more. Registration is open. The hotel rooms are filling up fast, so reserve your space now. But yeah, even if you don't make it to both conferences, we have lots of information at the Chesterton conference about the CSN, this Chesterton Schools Network. I hope you get to go, because it's amazing. It's just one of those life-changing things, and it really opens your eyes. It sounds like what happened in St. Louis is sort of a microcosm. You see all these people coming together from different places to make this happen. When you go to the conference, you get to see it from all over the country, and it's like sort of mind-blowing.
Well, that's one of just the fact that the network exists is important to me, because if our kids are just in this, we're going to be a small school, especially starting out, like maybe we'll have 30 the first year. We're hoping to get up to 100 in a few years. But if they can go on the March for Life with other Chesterton students, if we can arrange like a leadership summit here in the summer for all the Midwest Chestertons, if we can have sporting events with other Chestertons, and then that Rome pilgrimage when they're seniors, all together with kids from all over the country, I mean, that is going to make them feel like part of a bigger community of like-minded people who have the same experience. And I can't wait for them to experience those things. Yeah.
I know that when Dale got back, there were I think there were 100 students on that Rome pilgrimage this year, which is just wonderful. And it really does. It shows you, hey, this is big. This is bigger than you. It's bigger than your school even, and it's a strong movement. That's it's a wave across the country, which is great.
Yeah.
So we don't have a ton of time left, but if there's anything you would tell a parent who is wavering on whether or not they should try this great adventure, what would you say to them?
I would say read the course catalog, because it really defines the mission and the model in such a clear way. But, it defines those pillars of intellectual character and spiritual pillars, and it defines those hallmarks: incarnational environment, focus on truth, beauty, and goodness; a joyful learning environment, rediscovering the lost tools of learning; and also the Socratic Seminar and the wit and wisdom of G.K. Chesterton, which is awesome and so needed nowadays, because our culture is at a point where everybody's feeling like they're at odds with each other if you think differently. And Chesterton is just such a great model of getting along with people that you don't agree with, which I think a lot of people never learned how to do. So he's such a uniting figure, and I think for that alone, even if it wasn't this amazing classical curriculum or the house system that's going to form your kids into amazing leaders, just having him as a model for the school is worth it. So many reasons, beautiful. Though. Call me.
That's
yeah.
Right. Keep your eyes on St. Louis. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Of course, I've been a friend of Chesterton for about 10 years, and I can safely say he's changed my life, and I hope he changes the lives of all the students who pass through. That's great. Any last thoughts? This is your last chance.
Oh man, I mean, there's so just that despair and confusion that's in the world right now. I think this is the answer to counter that. I'm reading a great book right now, From Christendom to Apostolic Mission, and it's all about how we can't really take how the Christendom has been informing our culture for so long, and we could kind of get away with not knowing our stuff or really being apostles. But now I think it's more on us as parents and students and just anybody in the world to be apostles and know how to critically think through things, how to represent our faith and truth, and how to really pull the beauty out of things. And so starting at Chesterton here in St. Louis is our answer to that problem.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we hope that everyone will pray along with you.
Yes, please.
for success, as we know that there's no success without God. But I think you guys sound like you're on a really good road, and power to you. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. This has been really great. And again, I hope everybody who is thinking about it, maybe just give us a call and, see what happens. You can find us on the web at chestertonschoolsnetwork.org. We are there, and we're happy we'll put that link in the description. We're happy to talk to you and help you. And the network is unique in that we are there every step of the way. So if you join the network, you are guaranteed help and the full package that we offer.
Which is incredible for parents who have never started a school. You need that support and collaboration with the other schools starting. It's the experience has been really difficult, but so amazing.
Well, I've recently rediscovered that difficult isn't always bad, right?
No,
difficult can get you to heaven. Not
exactly. If it's not difficult, you might want to reevaluate what you're doing.
Right. Rethink some things, because you might be on the wrong path.
Right.
No, that's great. Well, again, thank you so much. This has been wonderful and joyful, and I appreciate you giving some time to us.
Yeah, thanks.
And for everyone listening, please remember to like and subscribe, share our podcast, and if you can, leave us a review. That really helps us to reach more people. We get moved up the ranks that way, so it helps us to reach more people with the wit, wisdom, and joy of G.K. Chesterton. And again, thank you. This has been Uncommon Sense, the official podcast of the Society of Gilbert Keith Chesterton. I'm Grettelyn Darkey, your host. Remember, Chesterton is always better with friends. Talk to you next time.